habitat's not going to hold much longer.
We need to start thinking about off-site solutions.
The island is the one thing that's kept him isolated. If he leaves, Godzilla will come for him. There can't be two alpha titans. The whole theory of an ancient rivalry stems from Iwi mythology.
He's gotten too big over time. This environment won't sustain much longer. It's too unstable.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special report.
This is Cheapseat Reviews.
Hello, and thank you for listening to Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores the Hollywood film industry for the greater good.
The greater good.
Nice. That's great.
I thought you'd like that one.
No, that's really good. Always the Godzilla sound effects. What am I? I don't know. This is episode 341. That's what this is. And tonight we're talking about Godzilla Vs Kong, the 2021 movie that came out like a week ago. And it feels like we're the last ones to review it.
Well, that's mainly because we always feel weird about doing HBO Go or HBO Max stuff, right? Because is it cheap seat if we're subscribing to HBO?
No, I don't know. I don't know.
Right?
Yeah,
It's just kind of I hate to bend to the will, but there's so many good stuff happening on HBO Max that it's hard to ignore right now.
Yeah. No, you're not wrong. But that's okay. We're doing it anyway. This will be, I guess, our second HBO Max because we also did the Wonder Woman 1984 too, 84 also. So maybe we're branching out. Maybe I don't know. The seats are getting a little bit closer to the action. They're a little less cheap. I don't know. But I will say, no, you're not wrong. We still are. So with this is episode 341. I said that already. 341. And we're doing that movie I already said. And I am Sean. I haven't said that yet. Gosh. I am Sean Allred, and joining me tonight is Andrew. Couldn't she have had Build-A-Bear do a better job, Jimison?
Hello there.
Hey, buddy.
You talk about the little girl?
Yeah, that little monkey thing she had. Like, it would have been...
Aww.
It looks so terrible.
It had character.
I know it did. It's sweet, but I'm just making a joke.
It was almost like a little... what are the voodoo dolls of Godzilla? Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I guess maybe she hugs it and then Kong feels the love tonight. Also joining us tonight is Sam, who also sits in a giant skull when he DJs Vector.
Absolutely. I'm still waiting for yours, but
Well,
I'll
you have to.
when it comes.
You get a 3D print it for me, right?
Yeah. But just so you know, Sean, I've got a ticket to Tokyo for you here.
Yeah.
That I'm going to send you over there for the next few years to just wait something out for me. Okay.
All right. That sounds fine. They have, I think, like free healthcare and really clean air and
sushi.
I
know.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what'll happen. You'll choke on some sort of sushi.
Yeah. I'll get the seafood will finally kill me as I assume that it will.
Yeah. That works.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. That sounds legit. Anyway, like I said, we're doing Kong versus Zilla versus Kong. I think that's actually what it's called. And
Zilla, really?
Godzilla. I guess, because Zilla.
How does Godzilla buy houses?
I don't know. How does he?
He goes to Zillow.
Oh, he goes to Zillow. Nice. That's a good joke. I appreciate that.
No, that was great. That was a dad joke.
It was a good dad joke. I appreciate it. No, seriously, it was good. Without Corny here to do those types of jokes, we rely on both you and Andrew for those types of jokes.
He also buys his purses from Zulily.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
which Kong carries purses. Clearly, if you didn't see it in the film.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
He calls it a man satchel, but it's really a purse. I mean, let's just be honest here.
Yeah. No, you're right. Totally right.
And that's the sole reason why he should be destroyed.
Yeah, that's why they're fighting. Actually, Godzilla is like, that's mine, and you stole it. So it seems like an episode of like I Love Lucy where they like her once and somebody else are trying to get the same purse on the rack and like the day before Christmas or something. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. What I'm saying is Godzilla vs. Kong, directed by Adam Wingard. Wingard? I like Wingard better.
Wingard?
Wingard. It's probably not right.
Save more money at Wingard.
Wow, a Menards reference. Jeez. If you're listening to this show from North Carolina, you probably have no idea what that is. If you're overseas, you definitely don't know what that is. But if you're west of the Mississippi, then you enjoyed that joke. Wow. Okay.
Wait, no, there's no Menards around here?
Is there? I've never seen a Menards east of Tennessee.
Okay, well, I used to see.
I have no idea what a
commercials
Menards is.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
My gosh. All right. Well, never mind then.
I used to tell kids in like 5th grade, you can suck on Menards.
Yeah.
That's the only.
Yeah,
that's the only way I know that word.
You shouldn't say that, Andrew. So I'm looking at the Sam. I'm on the Menards. This is the level of research you get with Cheapseat Reviews. I'm on the Menards locator website. There is nothing east of West Virginia, and nothing south of Tennessee that I can see. Everything it's very much a Midwest, northern Midwest. Let's see, they've gone.
Holy crap! How do I know about Menards then?
Well, because of your time in Wisconsin, I would bet.
Oh, okay.
They're all over that area. Like they have 2 in Wyoming, a handful in the Dakotas and Kansas. But I mean, the picture I'm looking at is like it's a little icon. There must be a couple hundred in the Indianapolis or the Indiana, Illinois, Ohio belt area. So.
Okay.
There you go. This episode is brought to you by Menards. Boy, don't I wish
Menards, why don't you give us a sponsorship, buddy?
Yeah, if somebody has an in with Menards, let them know that we're
jingling them.
Yes.
I happen to love Menards.
Yeah.
And I carry them everywhere I go. Sometimes I'll even fondle them. No, I'm not gonna lie.
It's gonna be one of those podcasts, isn't it?
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
yes, we're all screwed. Okay,
we're all tired. It's end of spring break for a lot of us, and I don't think any of us want to go back to work after a good spring break. So,
well, I mean, a few of us, and by a few of us, I mean me. I did have to work over spring break, so that's what happens when you're staff and you're not faculty. So, Adam, we actually have seen this director before, and Andrew is waiting patiently to read what the synopsis of this movie is, but I want to get into the director a little bit. So he did Death Note, which is a popular movie, which we've not seen, but he did the Blair Witch remake in 2016. I don't know if either one of you saw that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
He did The Guest. He did... let's see, something called You're Next. It seems like he's done a lot of kind of horror stuff. But the one thing that we've done is on the ABCs of Death, he did Q is for Quack.
Interesting.
I don't remember what that one was. Oh, it was the dudes, right? It was like 2 guys like in the desert, and they were trying to come up with something for Q. And they were going to shoot a duck with a gun, and they end up killing themselves with the gun by accident. Wasn't that the thing?
I don't remember.
I know. Those things were so...
It's been a while.
Yeah, they were bad. Well, a couple of them were good, but I think most of them were not.
Most of them were pretty bad. Yeah.
Anyway, so this guy's he's done some stuff. This is kind of one of his first not horror films. Big budget actioner. So, Andrew, tell us, please, for those that have no idea what Kong or Godzilla vs. Kong is, please enlighten us.
The epic next chapter in the cinematic Monsterverse pits two of the greatest icons in motion picture history against one another, the fearsome Godzilla and the mighty Kong, with humanity caught in the balance.
All right. There you
Nice.
go. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you guys know Andrew used a word that I saw today for the first time? I had never seen Monsterverse. Have you guys seen that before?
Well,
Yep.
clearly not, because when I was reading it, I almost said multiverse or universe or something. But now I guess we have a Monsterverse out there with, like, monsters.
Yeah. Yep. The Godzilla Monsterverse.
So is it
It-
just the Godzilla the monsters, or is it
Well,
monsters
it includes
across?
the Kong. What movie was it? The Skull Island movie, or
Yeah, so the
can't remember which one it was.
2014, 2015, the one with Breaking Bad in it. It was that's the first Godzilla movie, so that's the first in the series. And then Kong Skull Island, which is set in the 70s with Sam Jackson and Captain Marvel and Loki.
Yeah, like half the MCU.
Yeah, that's the second movie. And then the third one is the Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Yeah, and I actually have watched, because I watched this one thinking that we were going to record like 2 weeks ago or something. And then in the meantime, I watched, I guess, Godzilla, the first whatever of this set.
Yeah, with the Netflix gal. What's her name? Billy.
Yeah.
Bobby Britton.
Yeah, Millie Bobby
Yeah.
Brown, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
one. And I also watched Kong Skull Island. So I haven't seen Godzilla King of the Monsters.
Okay.
I enjoyed it.
So I
bad.
haven't seen it either. I haven't seen the first Godzilla, honestly. I went into this just wanting to watch this movie and did not realize that I was missing out on some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Because
This was like the Avengers of Monsterverse, basically.
well, yeah, I
right?
mean, it was like watching Batman versus Superman, having not watched Man of Steel. I guess that's it. There's nothing else before that movie, but yeah, I guess that's it. It's not a very good comparison, but I guess you're right. I guess the better comparison would have been watching Avengers, having not seen, any of the other. I guess I did see Kong Skull Island, so it'd be like me watching only Captain America. Actually, I think that's an appropriate analogy, because I'm on the site for Godzilla King of the Monsters, and literally on the picture here is Millie Bobby Brown looking all, smiley or whatever in the shot there. I didn't know that this was kind of a direct sequel to that, so I kind of want to watch it because there's a bunch of cool actors in it. I mean, so Kyle Chandler, who is the dad in this movie, who's only in it like for 2 minutes. You got Vera Farmiga. I don't know if I'm pronouncing her name right. Millie Bobby Brown, Ken Watanabe, who we love from Inception.
Yep.
Bradley Whitford, West Wing's own Bradley Whitford. My gosh.
Yep.
And some other people that I like. So I kind of want to go watch it, though it's got an IMDb ranking of 6.
It's well, we'll get into the review of this, where this movie depends on how you feel when you watch it, right? It could go a lot of ways, and I think that's the same way on those. Any of these kind of monster movies are that way, the Saturday afternoon special type of thing.
Yeah, that's actually a really good kind of idea of Saturday afternoon special. So Sam, why don't you go ahead and lay down your 5-word review for us, sir?
Sure. And I only have one. And this is one of those movies. I think we're going to have a really hard time having a very long podcast on this movie. Because my review, I think, absolutely sums it up as big, loud, and absolutely amazing. Right? You go into this movie, you're not expecting Shakespeare. You're not expecting, the story to really happen. And I went into this thing, I don't know why it hit me the right way because I had a heck of a lot of fun with this. I believe I was home alone, so I could turn the TV up as loud as I could do it, and just have fun with two gigantic monsters fighting each other, and eventually the third one, comes in there as well. The story is absolutely stupid, right? It's just a matter of getting these things from one place to the other, and a lot of it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But I don't care. I had a lot of fun, and I thought. Now, I will say there are problems with the movie. There are some scenes where it looks cutscene, video game cutscene-ish, right?
Yeah.
Where it's not quite up to snuff in realism. But when they start fighting in Tokyo with all the neon lights, and I believe it was Tokyo, right?
It was Hong Kong.
Or Hong Kong, with the neon lights, man, I think they did such a great job. It felt like those things were real, right? There was weight to these monsters. It wasn't just a CGI space filling up the air. It was, there was breathing, there was heft to them, and I just had a great time. It was exactly what I needed on a day that I was needing it. So, it's got its problems. Story, yes. Some of the acting, yes. They're trying to fit, I think, a little too many of the human pieces into it. But again, it's like I said, it's an Avengers type of story where they're bringing in a whole bunch of other people from different movies into it. But no, I had a great time with it.
Hey, right on. I mean, sometimes that's all you need, right?
Right.
You're just looking for some fun. You're looking to be entertained, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm kind of with you in the point that, especially in the world of this podcast right now, we've done some Road to Perdition and Atonement back to back. Those are heavy movies.
And I'm wondering if that's maybe why, right? Maybe it was that we've done so many big, heavy movies lately that something like this was like a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, I mean, in 2021 so far, we're now into month 4, but I mean, we started off with The Killing Joke, which is kind of rough. I mean, like, and like tonally speaking, I mean, like there's rape and there's murder, and I mean, it's for a cartoon, it's a dark thing, right? And then we get to kind of a depressing Midnight Sky, and then we do Hidden Figures, which is kind of the Disney version of stuff, but it was, it's still kind of, we had to use our brains, right? And then Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was emotionally draining.
Yeah.
For all of us. And then we skip over to, Atonement and Road to Perdition. So, the movies like Push and Jumper and Outside the Wire are kind of in the minority so far, I think, in 2021. We're watching some deep stuff, which I think is good and different for us for the show, especially if you look at our history. So you're not wrong. This was kind of a fun movie to just kind of sit back and go, I don't have to take a lot of notes. I don't even really have to pay attention that much. I'm just going to, my son came down, my 8-year-old son came down right when Mecha Godzilla was coming online. And I looked at my wife and I'm like, he should be fine. They've had like one swear word in the entire movie. I said, and this is just going to be giant fake thing versus giant fake thing versus giant fake thing. And so I said, hey, Declan, this is what this is. If this starts to get scary, just let me know and we'll pause it. He's like, all right. And he just sat and then he starts asking questions. Well, why are they fighting him? Well, this is why. Okay. Well, why is this happening? Okay. So, yeah, I had fun. So I'll do my 5 word in just a second. Andrew, what you got? Besides the muted self.
I was trying to find my mouse. It wasn't showing up. All right. Yeah, so I have so-so monster buddy cop film. And yeah, I mean, I'm with you in the fact that we saw some pretty heavy things lately, and I was hoping that this one, and it did in a way kind of take me out of it, but I had to bring myself back in about halfway through, and I was thinking, you know, it's okay. You know, it's not like I actually watched this in its entirety twice because I watched it once by myself, and then I thought, well, my kids might want to watch this because they had actually asked about it and they'd never seen a Godzilla or King Kong movie before. And I told them, I said, look, there's a little bit of violence and there's a couple of words that you know that you don't need to ever repeat. And they said, yeah, it's cool. So they watched it and they enjoyed it. And I think for them it was cool and it was fun to see. And maybe when I would, if I were their age, I would enjoy it a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
But it was very predictable.
Oh
you
gosh,
know,
yeah. You knew what was coming for sure.
You knew exactly what was happening from the first moment we meet. What's his face?
Kong.
No, the company exec.
Yeah.
Yeah, Apex
Evil corporation.
Companies. Yeah, I mean, you know that's going to be an evil corporation. I didn't really foresee the Mechagodzilla happening until they start talking about it. Like, I wish that would have been a little bit more organic, how they let that come to fruition. And I don't know, I feel like they just kind of gave away, even though it was cool how they revealed it through the fog and the smoke. I don't know, that we talked about it before that, so we know it's coming. Even if you don't really know that much about, which I don't know that much about Godzilla. I've never seen, other than what we've done for the podcast, I've never seen any Godzilla movies.
Oh wow, okay. It was a staple for me in the 80s. I remember, again, Saturday afternoon watching Godzilla movies or giant monster movies on TV in Florida.
I wasn't born then, so I don't know.
Harsh.
But it was. I felt like I was watching two different movies in one sense, because I'm following the Millie Bobby Brown plot line, and then we've got the kind of the Kong plot line. So we've kind of got a Godzilla plot and a King Kong plot that we're following, which, I mean, I understand why, but I mean, let's be honest. This is really a King Kong movie, in my opinion.
Yeah. He feels like the hero.
Yeah, I mean, so I don't know how much of the Godzilla backstory we really needed, or side story we really needed. I don't know. The acting was fine. The CGI was fine, but I agree with you about the some of the scenes feeling like a video game cutscene in some places, and then I did find a little bit of an issue. This is kind of where it took me out. We were going to Hollow Earth, and we see this diagram on the screen of Hollow Earth, and we see all these little tunnels, right, going to the middle of the planet. But then we never see that. Like, we never experience that on film. We fall in a hole, and we're in the nether, right? We're just in this open space. And then you get sucked through this wormhole-looking whatever, and end up in Hollow Earth. So I don't know. Maybe I'm nitpicking, but I didn't like it as much as I think you guys probably did.
Oh well, that's fine. I mean, that's all right. There's certainly plenty to nitpick in this kind of movie, and I think there's certainly plenty of other issues to go along with. I think to that specific point of them showing the Earth with lots of different points, but they only ever go to the one in Antarctica, is maybe because that's the one where they know about. I think they show all those other ones to kind of give us an excuse as to why there's so many monsters on the surface. Is that they're somehow getting pooped out, onto the surface. So anyway. So my 5-word was most predictable team up movie.
Yeah.
So I just it was very predictable. It was I don't know. So this is how predictable it was. Having not ever seen it, right? They're showing the trailers. We're seeing commercials for it, and one of the podcasts I follow, they're like, "Hey, we're doing this movie." They did this like 4 or 5 days ago, and I commented on their post, and I said, "Prediction: they're going to be fighting each other, and then something is going to come along, and then they're going to have to team up and fight that thing." Because the studios are not going to have them kill each other. Because you wouldn't kill a multi-million-dollar franchise when you've only made 4 movies. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's so many millions other dollars to be made by making the next Kong or the next Godzilla or the whatever, right? I mean, they're going to keep making these things because why not? So I knew that was going to happen at some point. I didn't know it was going to be Mechagodzilla, and it was pretty cool. I mean, that fight scene was really cool. In fact, after I pulled clips, I went back and just rewatched just the team-up fight scene, and it was really neat. It was cool. I mean, it's beautifully done, and it's kind of neat to see that they're giving these creatures a little bit of intelligence. It's not just the fact that they're mindlessly blowing up buildings and punching each other. There's some intelligence. Godzilla sees that Kong is in trouble and looks up and goes, "I need to recharge his axe," and gives his axe a little recharge so that he could use it to hack away at the machine. Like, there's some cleverness to that, which I thought was really kind of nice.
It totally showed us what Transformers could have been.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, so this movie this movie reminded me of Transformers 1. The one that we liked. And also, it reminded me of Pacific Rim. Obviously, they both have the theme that it's giant things punching each other. But also the fact that we have the humans on the ground that are doing things they're trying to help, you know? And so you had the trio, right? You had the dude from Deadpool 2. You've got the other guy his name is Brian Tyree Henry, who played a character named Jefferson Davis in Into the Spider-Verse. I didn't know that was I don't remember there being any Civil War references to Into the Spider-Verse, but maybe I'm just misremembering. Anyway, he's in a bunch of stuff. He was the comic relief for this movie. Anyway, and then Millie Bobby Brown, or the three of them, you know, they somehow like figure out, like, they're the investigators, right? So they kind of remind me a little bit of the 2 scientists guys from Pacific Rim that are trying to figure things out or whatever. So I don't know. I kind of could have done without their subplot, honestly, but I guess she was in the first one, so they needed to have her give her something to do. I don't know.
Something to do.
I didn't care about their plot, honestly. He was funny, and I'm glad. I guess at the end they were able to contribute by spilling water down the thing, and it makes the system glitch a little bit. But I was way more interested in the little girl with the monkey doll, the deaf girl. That was a way more interesting story to tell. And
way more believable. The story of those 3 going through the tunnel and going from Pensacola, Florida, or wherever it was in Florida, to Hong Kong, through the mega tunnel, and it seemed forced, is what it seemed.
Mm-hmm.
And when movies have to resort to shoehorning characters into doing things, I think they fail most often sometimes.
And what really bothered me was at the end where her dad is there. It just happens to be in Hong Kong together in the same place. Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm okay with them both being in Hong Kong, right? Because he's apparently in charge of something that deals with the monsters. And so, you know, having not seen the other ones, that might have been important information to have, but whatever. So So they fly him out there, and of course she takes the subway from point A to point B. I mean, how rich is this company that they can build a subterranean maglev system to transport this stuff? Like,
And I'm no like engineer or quantum mechanic, but what would happen if you're traveling that quickly, unrestrained, in a capsule? I mean, would your body not just be thrown to the back of this
One would think.
and flattened? I don't know.
yeah, you know what? I didn't think about that. But you're right. They're going. It even shows they're going like 600 miles per hour because that's the only way you can get them from Florida to Hong Kong in a movie, in which time is of the essence. So, yeah, I think physics is a little broken there, unless there's some kind of gravity field that they've created so that all their stuff inside doesn't get squished to the back of the wall.
Yeah.
Well,
there's
and
some-
well, I will say that the ships they were using to levitate around looked stupid. I did not like the design of those ships. I thought it was very, I don't know. It just did not look the part to me.
There was a lot of bad science in this, and it was a little fantastical, and that's what those ships reminded me of. It was just like, I know this is taking place in the future, but even for that,
Right.
I agree. They weren't designed well, and it took me out.
Yeah, I didn't really care, honestly, about them. I thought they were just whatever. The other parts, the human parts that really annoyed me. So the girl, Eliza Gonzalez, who was the daughter of the bad guy, right?
Just kind of odd.
She's very attractive. Yes, she's a very lovely woman, and apparently she's in a From Dusk Till Dawn series where she's a vampire or something. But when I clicked on her IMDb page to see if I knew her from something else, I know her from Baby Driver. She's in Baby Driver. But there's a picture with her with a giant snake around her, so I guess she's kind of playing the Selma Hayek character from the movie, which is fun. So anyway, so she's just kind of there in the movie, right? She's just the pretty girl there in the movie, and all of a sudden she just instantly turned evil, like on a snap. It just seems so quick for her just to go, okay, point guns at the like. What soldier guy thought I need to point a gun at the deaf 9-year-old? I don't understand that. And then you have to know that at this point in the movie that Kong has a relationship with this girl. He's going to hurt you.
Yeah.
If you hurt her. I don't understand. Like, she seems like a smart person until this moment. She just turns into a cartoon villain. So when she got crushed, Kong grabs the shuttle and looks inside to make sure that she's in there and not the girl, and he squishes it. And I'm like, okay, it wasn't a very satisfying death. It's not like spoiler alert for Kong Skull Island. Have you both seen that one?
Yes.
Okay. So when Sam Jackson gets it, it's kind of satisfying because
It's horrible, by the way.
It is horrible. But he's kind of a dick through the whole movie. Right? He's just decision after decision is just him trying to kill this thing, and more of his men are dying, and like Loki is like, dude, let's just leave. Let's just go. Even John C. Reilly is like, can we just go? Get on the thing and let's go. But Sam Jackson has to do the whole Ahab, Moby Dick thing trope. And so when he gets it, it's kind of satisfying, honestly. But in this movie, I'm like, that was kind of a waste of a pretty girl. I didn't care, So the only people I cared about was Sarsgaard, the bearded man, who was then shaven and looked. The guy he played Tarzan in the Tarzan movie, and then the little girl, and then the mom who we've seen in Iron Man 3. And we saw her in The Prestige. She's in The Prestige. They're the only humans I cared about, honestly. I wanted, I really, and I'll be honest too, I don't know what it was, but there was a moment where when she's signing to Kong and Kong signs back home, it kind of got me in the feels a little bit. I'm not going to lie. It kind of gave me a little moment. So, I don't know. It's just one of those things. It's one of those things. You know how like you can watch a movie 1,000 times and it not affects you, but then sometimes for whatever reason it's that one time it gets you. We're at the house yesterday. It's Saturday. We've got the windows open. It's kind of stormy outside a little bit. You know, I'd just come inside from doing some yard work before the rain. And so I just turned the TV on just to cool off, waiting for the rain to stop so we can go back outside, right? And it's on, one of the HBOs had Independence Day, the first one. So I'm like, well, heck yeah, I'll watch Independence Day. There's nothing else on. So it's like the second half, right? It's the scene where they're getting ready to nuke the ship, right? So it's right before all that, though. And it's when Will Smith goes and gets the helicopter and then saves Vivica A. Fox and the president's wife. And they bring her back to the hospital. And for whatever reason, that death scene wrecked me. I don't know what it was. I'm sitting here on the couch. Tears are rolling down my face. When the little girl says his mom is sleeping, and he says, yeah. My wife looks at me and goes, are you crying at Independence Day? And I said, yes. And she says, why? And literally in the moment, my 4-year-old daughter, walks into the room, and I said, that's why. And she looks at me and I said,
it was different.
I said, I'm imagining her asking me that question about you. And she says, okay, I'm with you. You know, like, you're right, it changes. It's all different. So, anyway. What?
What?
I have a note in my line here. I have a note here, and it doesn't make sense. Cool way to show us she's DEA. I don't know what that means. There's no one that's in the DEA. Oh, deaf. I think I meant to write deaf, but the F didn't come back. I'm like, who's DEA? Cool way to show us
DEA, the little girl's DEA agent.
Yeah, it was cool that they zoom in on her ear and then the sound changes and muffles.
Yeah.
I thought that was actually really clever.
Yeah, even my kids knew what that meant, you know, being 8 and 10. I mean, they knew immediately she can't hear.
Yeah, that was a cool way. I just like it when movie directors do stuff like that and say, "Oh, she's deaf." Okay, you know, you don't have to spoon feed us stuff. Sometimes you can be a little subtle. Now, I mean, I don't know how subtle you are when you're zooming into your ear, but I thought that was kind of neat. I also liked the NCAA tournament of the monsters that have been killed to get to the championship game. I thought that was kind of neat. Very appropriate for this time of year, I think. I also, one of my other last notes is, even whistleblowers have podcasts.
Of course.
Yeah, I just thought that was sneak into a computer lab to steal information I'm good with, but don't eat the man's apple.
Ew.
It's just gross. It is gross. I mean, I know both of you guys. I still would never go up to your house and like take food that you had already eaten and then eat it myself.
We know someone though that would.
We do know someone that would, and I've been trying for years to get them on the podcast, but I still can't believe he didn't get punched in the face for that. Inside joke that only people that listen to that know us personally know us.
I think we've talked about it on the podcast before.
Maybe we have. I don't know. Kong signing to the girl was a really sweet moment. Let's see. Oh, how much sedative does it take to keep that much, body sedate?
Yeah, that's another thing. Unless he's just completely calm because he's riding on a barge, that sedative wore off really quickly when Godzilla shows up, or he's just chilling because he's on a cruise until something happens there.
Well,
they really should have had a barrel with like a
adrenaline.
No, like a little barrel with a fruity drink in it and an umbrella, sticking out that he can just kind of sip
like
as he's
cruising?
laying back and enjoying.
Well, I
the
mean,
music is kind of Jimmy Buffett-ish.
Well, I mean,
Yeah, a little bit.
the movie does it shows them that he likes music because they're playing music both in his habitat and on the crew on the ship. I call it the cruise, but on the ship. But they do give us so the movie does a couple things to they're giving us a couple of lines of dialogue to explain some things, right? So according to the trivia that I read, that I'll mention, well, I guess I won't mention it again since I'm reading it now, but basically, the size of Kong from Skull Island was not big enough to fight Godzilla. He was not big enough. And so, but they used the line in Kong at the end of that movie where they mentioned that he's growing. And at the beginning of this movie, the very first line that I captured in the intro is that he's going to outgrow this habitat. He's still growing. And that's how they're like it because the size comparison, they made this Kong many feet bigger so that he could stand up to Godzilla and not be, just a bitch slap and he goes flying, right? So
Which happened a few times.
he did. I mean, Kong got his butt kicked. Let's just be real. He got his butt kicked twice.
Yeah.
2 out of 3 times he lost those fights. And yeah. I also kind of want to know how they got him into those chains. Oh, no, but to your point, Andrew, about the cruise and him being chill and the sedative, whatever. But, like, the mom does, that was my other thing, is, like, they wrote in the line, mom saying, the only reason why he's not tearing his boat apart is because she's on it. My daughter, the little girl. So, there might have been a little bit of, she says, hey, we're going to go for a ride. Can you eat all those bananas with the dope and hang out? And he's like, yeah, okay. And then we're going to go for a ride. Okay. So, I don't know. I feel like we're missing some steps where the girl has to communicate with Kong. But I guess when we find out later that they can communicate, I guess that reveal is lessened by that, I guess. I don't know. One, I want to know how they got him onto the habitat. How did they get him off his island? And then 2, well, not off his island, but I mean, how did they build a habitat around him while he slept at night or something? I don't know. It seemed strange. I don't know. Why build all these resources to put him in a habitat? Just leave him alone on his island. He's not going anywhere. Whatever. You still with us, Sam? Or did your controller die again?
He's been talking for like 20 minutes and
he's gone. Maybe
he fell asleep.
That's okay. Let's see.
Skype is being a pain tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely not a sponsor of the show. Let's see. I did like how there's a non-military person giving a tactical plans. She's like, we have to help him. Fire the depth charges. No one else thought of depth charges. They're under the water. But anyway,
that hurt Kong too, though.
I don't know. I guess it's one of those where it could hurt him, but in the long run,
it would make Godzilla at least let him go, I guess, right?
Yeah. I mean, Godzilla's kind of a dick in this movie, right? I mean, he tries to drown him. That's messed up.
Yeah.
That's pretty cold.
And the reasoning being there could be only one.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's no reasoning other than that the reason he's going after Kong is because there can be only one.
Yeah, he wants to be the alpha. He needs to be the alpha. This planet's not big enough for the 2 of us, and he's gonna do his thing. So I mean, that's what it just comes down to. It's just interesting that Godzilla just knows where he is. Like he's just omniscient that way. I mean, they mentioned like if we take him off his island, Godzilla's going to go looking for him. So I guess there's something about Skull Island that protects his energy or something. I don't know. Let's see. I read right. So Iron Sky 2 was right when they went down into the hollow planet, the hollow Earth.
Yeah.
So they called it. Good job.
Would have been awfully convenient for the core as well.
Yeah, it would have made that movie a lot shorter. You're right. If they just pooped out when they were there.
That was the kind of technology in this movie. That was kind of that weird faux science type of type of ideas.
Yeah, but that movie's trying to make us think that they're doing real science. I never believed any of the science in this movie, so I didn't care.
Oh, okay.
Like it's the science of Armageddon. I don't really care. Just show me some cool stuff and, be quippy and blow up a giant asteroid. Like, I don't.
And melty.
Yeah, melty.
Didn't they melt? Like people like melted
in Armageddon?
Pressure. No, in the core.
Oh yeah. Poor Delroy Lindo. Yeah, he melted like a marshmallow in a campfire.
Yeah.
How's that for a visual? Let's see. I know Kong. So okay. I have to cue this clip up. Hang on. Yeah. So when they go into Center Earth or the Hollow Earth, right? I know Kong's down there and he's hopping around and he's doing fine. And they land their little ship and they open the door. And all I could think of was,
"Hey, don't open that! It's an alien planet! Is there air? You don't know!"
No, you're right. You're completely right.
That's all I could think of.
You don't know.
Yeah, it's all it's like the pressure greater down there. I don't know. They just walked out there in t-shirt and jeans. I just felt like it would be dangerous or something. I don't know. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I had to play that. Okay. And here's another little weird faux science thing happening, right? So the problem with the Mechagodzilla, and again, they're trying to pilot it like it's Pacific Rim, right? They're trying to, interface with using the skull of, what was it, Andrew? Not Andrew, Sam. You watched all these things. Who was the
one of the
not Megalodon? What was it called?
Well, it was the three-headed thing.
Yeah,
the three-headed one. Yeah, I can never remember the Japanese names.
I don't know. Anyway. So the three-headed thing, right? They're using the head of it because it has like a psychic link with the other three, right? That was the idea, and so that one of the other skulls is the basis of the head around Mechagodzilla, and so that's how they're able to interface via Wi-Fi. Is this kind of and I was actually okay with that idea. Honestly, I was totally fine with that stuff. And it's the idea that their ship they can't power it, right? It's the Iron Man issue that Warmonger doesn't have a power cell powerful enough. That's why he has to steal Iron Man's chest piece. So in this case, they just go down to the core and find whatever that material that gives Godzilla its power, and they just take a sample of it, and then they just beam up whatever the formula is. And I thought that seems too convenient. What I thought was,
how nice would that be?
Well, I felt like it should have been harder. I thought that little crabby thing was going to go and take a piece, and then they were going to have to get that to the base, and then insert that into the battery system like a Duracell, and then that was going to turn it on. Like I thought, like all they did was just upload what it was, and then we have the technology to synthesize whatever that is instantly. I mean, it was within seconds. I just thought
what I kind of missed in this movie?
Yeah.
And it kind of along the lines of that. In all of the Kong movies, it's not just Kong. It's more Skull Island and all the creatures on the island and all the things they have to do to avoid the creatures on the island, and Kong versus the creatures. When they get to Middle Earth, right, they saw the bats for sure, but there wasn't a whole lot of anything else in there that I was expecting in the typical Kong type of movie.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they didn't have enough time, or they didn't have I mean, I did see So I gotta be honest, Sam. You know more about the Kong monster universe or the Godzilla monster universe than I think Andrew and I. I think literally my information is what I got from Godzilla Final Wars, which we did for the show. Which, Michael, if you're still listening to the podcast, which I don't think he does anymore, I'm sorry, but that's all information I have is from that. So I do remember in Godzilla Final Wars there was like like an armadillo kind of giant thing that turned into a ball and rolled, and Godzilla like smacked it with his tail and it flew off and died or whatever. I think that was down there, right? It was eating one of the creatures that was like a crab thing. Like it picked it up.
Yeah.
And, I was like, hey, that's that thing. And maybe that's just a tease for maybe we'll have to, somebody will have to fight it later. I don't know. But
yeah.
Or maybe they just wanted to show us it just to say, hey, that's another monster that's in the franchise. But I kind of see your point, Sam. It would have been kind of...
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe... I mean, he did have to fight... I mean, Kong did have to fight that one kind of snake winged thing, and they had to, missile him up to help out, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Just... you're right. I mean, maybe a little bit more peril down there. It did seem like there wasn't peril until...
It was so safe. Yeah, it was so safe until the bats started.
And again, we only needed the bats because I'm not sure why we really needed them, because they didn't really do anything other than... I mean, it's not like we really needed to kill off some more dudes with guns, right? Because they were all going to get in that shuttlecraft and get squished anyway. But I guess you're right. Maybe the director was like, well, we need to do this. We need to have the pterodactyl things, take them off and do that.
Because, I mean, you guys saw the Kong Skull Island, right?
Yes, I think we've already established that twice now.
yeah. And the whole idea is the entire crew, gets off not by just Kong, but by things on the island itself. And that's part of the fun.
Yeah.
Right. And you go back to Peter Jackson, we all remember the human eating leeches or whatever those were in the swamps and some of those different creatures that he was showing that were a heck of a lot of fun. So I guess I kind of missed that in this.
Sure.
But minor.
Well,
very minor.
I'm with you though. I mean, and then another thing that kind of got me was they're saying to Kong, there might be more of you down there. Your family might be there. And he gets there and there's this huge, cathedral-like place that's been built, assuming we're assuming others like Kong built it. And there's nothing else there. So have they all been destroyed? Are they extinct? Have they all left? We don't know. And I would have appreciated just a subtle nod or a hint that maybe that's something that could come in the future. I'm not saying they have to make that movie, but maybe just a subtle wink and a nudge. Hey, we're going to be looking for these long lost family members here in the future. I don't know.
No.
I feel like that was kind of a build up that we never really got any.
The Middle Earth, it felt empty.
Yeah.
For as much that was there, it just felt empty. It didn't feel realized.
To be as visually beautiful as it was,
yeah,
there was nothing there. Yeah. Except for random pterodactyl-like creatures and a couple of flying lizard things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Last couple things I wrote was cool. World's largest defibrillator, and then a cool fight scene at the end. So that's kind of it. That's kind of my notes. Anything else? I thought. Oh, the last thing I had. My only question is that why did Godzilla drill a hole through to Middle Earth with his fire? I didn't understand that. They got down there. Kong activates the floor with his axe, and it creates the symbol of Godzilla, right? The little shape of him, and Godzilla just like, oh, I must do this thing now. How convenient that I'm standing directly over them. That Godzilla's home or King Kong's home is directly underneath Hong Kong. That's super convenient. So I'll just drill a hole down there to him. I'm not quite sure why he did that, other than because we needed a quick way out.
Yeah. Again, shoehorn.
I was asking my wife that because she watched it with me. I'm like, why did he do that? And she says, I don't know. And I said, in the movie, the bad guy says, oh, he's reacting or he's responding or something. I didn't know what that meant. So, I don't know. Anyway, time for a clippy clip. You guys ready for a clippy clip?
Yay,
Sure.
All right, here we go. Time for this.
Hello, loyal listeners. Welcome to TTP, Titan Truth Podcast, episode number 245. Today is the day. Maybe the last podcast I ever record. And look, I know I said that last week, and yeah, maybe the week before and a few other times. But look, this is the point.
I actually thought about starting off our show with that instead of saying, hey, this is CSR, Cheapseat Reviews, the podcast that explores how to ministry for the greater good. This is the last episode. I know I said that last week, but I mean it this time. I thought about doing that. I didn't know how it would land. But anyway, I feel very offended by this, by the way. Here we go.
I don't know if I'm the right guy for the job. Did you read the reviews? A sci-fi quack trading in fringe physics. Look where they put my office. I'm in the basement, right across from flute class.
Oh.
First of all, what kind of weird place that he works that has the pseudoscience dude down in the basement with the flute class?
Hey, I
as
teach
a music
business
teacher. Go ahead, Sam.
I teach business and economics, and every Monday, Wednesday at noon, I hear the jazz band practicing right below me.
And as a music teacher, any room that is available, we will use for a sectional. I mean, we will use the janitor's closet if the bassoons will fit in there. So that's all it is.
Yeah, I'm not arguing the merits that musicians will find a place to practice. I mean, we all went to the same school of music. I can't tell how many times we had to kick dudes out of the stairway. I want to practice my trumpet or I want to practice my trumpet in a classroom. No, go to a practice room, you weirdo. But
what is it about trumpets doing that? I don't understand.
It's big. Well, I know the actual reason why, but I'm not going to get into it. But I'm down here next to the flute class, and of course my next thought was, this school has a class dedicated to just flutes.
Damn.
I know. It's just, if he would have just said, I don't know, maybe music class is too generic, but my wife was like, that's not very nice, because that's what she played. She played flute. This was another kind of interesting. It kind of made me, I don't know, chuckle, but it made me smile.
The Hollow Earth aerial vehicles are on their way to Antarctica as we speak. I know you people think you're cutting edge, but these prototypes we're loaning you will make what you've been flying look like used Miatas.
I love Miatas.
Forget.
I love Miatas. Who doesn't love a Miata? This is a question that my boss has asked me before, and my response was not good. Here's the question.
How's Kong with heights?
Yeah, not good.
Poor Sean.
So I accidentally exported this clip without giving it a title, so I literally have no idea what this is. So this is a 25-second mystery clip. So it's been a while since we've had a mystery clip, so here you go.
I don't want this, guys.
If this wasn't contributing to world destruction, this would be a great DJ booth. I know that. Maintenance. I'm here for maintenance. I'm maintenance. You don't have to alert the... She doesn't buy that. Madison, we need to go. The woman with the villain hairdo, she's getting security, so...
Madison, they have guns.
Hey, guys. Hey, it's soundproof, so I can't really... I want to communicate. Open the door. There again.
There you go. I thought that was kind of funny. He was actually, again, he was really the only funny part of the movie. No? He didn't do it for you?
Didn't do it for me.
Yeah, that's fine. He was fun. Honestly, he's the Anthony Anderson from Transformers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Only, I think Anthony Anderson's way funnier than this guy. So, my wife pointed this out. The Mecha Godzilla literally did a dum dum dum. Like that. The whole. It literally does this. Here you go. It's just, it comes out of the mountain and then it eyes up Godzilla and we have the. I mean,
Nice.
I mean, it's kind of a neat sound. I mean, I kind of want to put that like in a dubstep song or something, but it's just weird. And you guys also know me. You know I like it when I hear a good shit. So here you go.
Oh, shit.
There you go. Just a nice quiet.
Oh, shit.
Just real soft.
That's like the ASMR version.
How weird would it be to be living on a planet with giant things like this, just being able to come in at any time to destroy your city? Right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It sounds terrifying to live in that world.
Right? It just to me, you start thinking about, what about the insurance rates for these buildings on the coast, especially? And, why would someone build a $1 billion skyscraper when, there's a chance that this thing's going to run right through it, especially if you're in Tokyo or Hong Kong.
Yeah, you're right. Like, why would you live in a coastal city and have big buildings ever? Once Godzilla is a thing that you really, that's a thing that we're dealing with. I mean, Kong's been around a long time. We don't really know. Do we ever find out in the first Godzilla movie how long he's been around for? I mean, I know that the myth is that he was created due to the nuclear testing that was happening in the Pacific. But I don't know. You're not wrong, Sam. I mean, it's the same argument with Pacific Rim.
Oh yeah,
it's just.
But see, they're at least trying to build walls or the mecha things to.
Well,
stop
the
cities from getting
the kaiju that they build or make right.
Yeah.
The What were the robots called? Were they kaiju? No, the kaiju were the aliens. What were the robots called? I don't remember. It doesn't matter. The robots, they're analog because they're nuclear powered.
Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. That was it. Time for this.
And now for some more bad news. Ready?
I have some trivia here. There's a lot of trivia on this movie. I mean, a lot. And I had to go through it. So when asked about the apparent height difference, I already mentioned that. So I'm going to skip to the next one. In case you are really into the nerdiness, into the nerdiness about the height, here's this. On March 11th, 2021, Legendary Studios revealed the official heights of both Titans for their Monarch profiles. Godzilla stands at 393 feet, which is the same height as he is in Godzilla King of the Monsters, while Kong stands at 336 feet. This is the largest incarnation of Kong in history, and both the largest American incarnation and the second largest overall of Godzilla, after the anime version in Godzilla Planet of the Monsters in 2017.
Huh. I kind of did think about that as Kong was climbing those buildings and thinking back to, I've never seen the original King Kong, but thinking back to the visuals that I've seen in pictures and stills of this black and white picture of a King Kong hanging off the side of the Chrysler building.
Mm-hmm. This time he's the size of the Chrysler building.
Exactly.
That was baby Kong back then.
Yeah.
He's grown a lot since
there is one of those posters that I was scrolling through some other things, and it was like Godzilla versus something, and it showed Godzilla whatever he was fighting. They're each standing on top of one of the Twin Towers in New York. Like the Godzilla is small enough that he could stand on top of one. That just was an interesting visual. Excuse me. Second to last is director Adam Wingard thought of Godzilla as the Undertaker, the pro wrestler character and fearsome loner who comes and goes to take on enemies when he needs to. For Kong, Wingard looked to Bruce Willis's John McClane, even giving the big guy a dangerous jump that's also a die-hard homage in the film. He is the 80s action hero archetype, he says of Kong. John McClane is this awesome cop, but it's like one of those guys versus a bunch of terrorists. And like Willis's good guy, Kong is in a little over his head, though he isn't totally outgunned. So King Kong is based on Die Hard. I love it.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, I like it. And the last one I thought was actually really interesting piece of trivia is Kong's axe is made from the dorsal fin of a Godzilla ancestor.
Oh, okay. So not Godzilla himself.
Yeah.
I kind of wondered that.
I thought that was kind of neat.
So were all the things, and maybe you saw this where I didn't, were all the things that lit up around the throne of King Kong, were all of those dorsal fins or weapons that he had created of other Godzilla-like creatures?
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. You would know before I would, or I don't know, maybe not. Okay, that's that. Time for this.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
We decided to do top 3 versus movies, right? We've already done monster movies before. We did that probably for Final Wars, right? Monster movies. We did that for, Final Wars. So we decided to do versus movies. Movies where, I don't know, you can either... I took it 2 ways in my own top 3. I looked at it as literally versus in the title, and also versus as in person versus another person or thing versus another thing. So, as always, not as always, but as recently, I'm going to let Sam go first. And Andrew, I will remember you that you're going. I will remember you.
I hope so.
Yeah. Go ahead, Sam.
All right. My number 3 is, and I went with the verses on here. My number 3 is Cowboys versus Aliens.
Is that a movie?
Yeah, that's the movie you guys love, and I'm like, it's okay.
Oh, I didn't know it was called Cowboys versus Aliens. I thought it was just Cowboys and Aliens.
I think it is Cowboys and Aliens.
Oh. Well, maybe I added the verses.
Yeah, it is. It's Cowboys ampersand Aliens. But you know what? That's fine because it's the same thing. It's literally them versus the aliens.
I'm going to replace it then with Jurassic Park 3 with the T-Rex versus the Spinosaurus.
I mean, that's fine.
So,
that works too.
I'm very fine with that. Yeah, that totally fits.
Yeah, I had that on my list too, Sam. So that works.
Okay.
Cowboys and Aliens.
My number. See, okay, good. I'm glad I'm not the only one that thought it was. Anyway. My number 2 is Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Nice.
And my number 1 is such a hidden gem, Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
There you go. All right. This is going to be a short segment for me.
This is going to be very, very short.
Yeah, so I also did Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Tucker and Dale versus Evil. So my last one, so I'll actually make it my number 1 since you picked the other ones. I'm actually going to say Godzilla Final Wars. Because as dumb as that movie is, sorry, Michael, I kind of enjoyed it, and it's kind of a lot of fun, and it literally is Godzilla just versus the next thing versus the next thing versus the next thing. So it's a lot of fun. Go watch if you've not ever seen Godzilla Final Wars, I don't know how you could watch it. It's never streaming, but I think it's worth a watch. Andrew, see, I remembered.
All right. See, so because I'm going last now, I'm having to work twice as hard. So I want you to look at these. I don't know if you guys can see it. I know our listeners can't see it, but I have a list here of just like 10 movies because I know that you guys are going to take the ones that I'm thinking about. So I have to make my list like 10 long just so I can look. All right. So what I have here, I have an honorable mention of the Hatfields and McCoys.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a made-for-TV miniseries, but
totally works.
I count it. Yeah. So that's an honorable mention. Number 2, I have Terminator 2.
Okay. Yeah, him
I'll
versus
take that one.
Yeah, him versus the T-2000.
Yeah. Number 2, I have Hunger Games, which is not necessarily versus one person, but it's versus a society. In a sense,
well, they're kind of versus each other.
They are, yeah, they're versus each other, yeah.
And then number 1, I have Avengers: Civil War.
They are, yeah, versus each other.
Oh, yeah,
that's
nice.
a good one.
Yeah,
that is a good one.
There we go.
Yeah,
I have
job.
others on my list, but Those are the three I'm going to use.
Well, we had some people chime in on the social media. Stephen Honeycutt, friend of the show, said Kramer versus Kramer. Let's see. We also had on the Twitterverse, we had such nice people. Let's see. The Hops Geek News podcast posted Alien versus Predator. See, Measuring the Score, which is a podcast about film scores, who I recently ran into. Not physically, but started chatting with. Freddy versus Jason. Green Shirt podcast, who its host Cameron will be on our show next week. I'm very excited to announce that again in a few minutes. Wrote Ash versus the Army of Darkness. It's just kind of titled The Army of Darkness, but the opening title sequence literally does say Ash versus the Army of Darkness. And then we also had JP's World posted Alien versus Predator also. So thank you all for participating in that. That was a lot of fun. And I remembered Andrew, so that's the most important part.
It always is the most important part.
I will remember you. Will you remember me?
You did this time.
I did. Here we go. Time for not this. I have the game. The other thing, right? Oh no, it is time for this. Sorry.
Wait, what's supposed to happen?
I almost played something else. Time for this. The out of 10. This is where we give a score for the movie. We rank it from 0 to 10. I don't think this is going to get a 10, but I don't know. I will say that Godzilla Final Wars got an average of 5.825, with guest Michael giving a 7.5, and Sam giving it a 2.5. But that's okay. IMDb has this movie ranked at 6.6, right?
Yeah.
Right? 6.6.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So there's a little, I don't know if that's the bar to go by, but there it is. Sam.
Yes, I am going to give this one a 6.83 out of 10.
All
Fun,
right.
forgettable, but fun.
All right. Andrew.
Yeah, I'm right there with Sam. It's forgettable. And I think I didn't enjoy it quite as much, so I'm going to give this just a 6.1.
All right. I had a good time with it. I'm just going to give it a 7. I actually had some fun with it. It was enjoyable. I laughed. I liked it. It was fine. Wasn't great. I mean, 7 is actually a pretty good score, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even the upper 6s is not bad.
Yeah, but I mean, that's tracking alongside of some other scores. I'm trying to think of some other near 7s that I've given things recently. I gave Mr. Right with Anna Kendrick a 7. I think I'd probably rather watch that than this, but
I'd put both on even.
they're about the
actually.
same. Yeah,
depends on how I feel.
Yeah, I want to watch something get blown up, I'll watch this. If I want to watch Anna Kendrick do cute things, I'll go watch that. Actually, I'd rather go watch Pitch Perfect, but those are funnier. That's it. Now, time for the quote game that I usually forget, but I remembered this time, mainly because we don't have a guest, so I don't have to do all that stuff. So the quote game. Sam, you may get this one because I think you finally watched the movie, but I also think, actually, I don't think you actually have watched the movie. I don't know if Andrew has or not. So here's the quote. I've seen things you people wouldn't believe. Attack ships on fire off the shoulder of Orion. I've watched sea beams glitter in the dark near the Tannhauser Gate. All those moments will be lost in time like tears in rain.
Tears in the rain. Yep.
Time to die.
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay. I couldn't remember if you finally did watch it. I guess when I was at your house, I should have gotten my copy back from you.
Well, but then my table would be uneven.
I know you make the joke. Again, it's my dad's. It's my dad's copy. I know the joke is funny, but it's my dad's copy.
Yeah, that. Let me know what that is. I've seen it, but I had forgotten that quote.
Yeah.
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 Cool.
All right, cool. That's it. Time to outro the show. I am excited to say that next week we will be joined by Cameron from the Green Shirt Podcast, which is a podcast that is it's a Star Trek, The Next Generation kind of watch through. Cameron is watching The Next Generation. He's going through every episode, having never watched any of them before, but he is a Trek guy. He does like Star Trek. He just never watched TNG, which frankly is kind of like me. There's a lot of TNG I missed because I wasn't into it as much. I was more into the film. I wasn't as big into the TV. So we're having Cameron on next week. Again, Cameron, host of the Green Shirt Podcast, a newbie's trek through TNG. And so we're very excited to have him on. It'll be a lot of fun. And we are doing Willow. Next week we're doing Willow. The Ron Howard.
I haven't seen that in forever.
Yeah, the Ron Howard.
Aren't they coming out with a sequel?
They're doing a series. I think they're doing a series
that's right. Yep.
On Disney Plus. That's where you'll find this is Disney Plus on Willow. Yeah. So I'm very excited because I love that movie so much. I haven't watched it in years, but
I've never seen it.
And I remember you saying that last week, so I'm excited for you to watch it, Andrew. Really am. It's going to be a lot of fun. So, with all that having been said, please go to our Twitter account at CheapSeatCast. I'm posting stuff there all the time. Now, I'm all over the Twitters. So go to at CheapSeatCast. Follow us there. Be like one of the 860 some odd other people that follow us on Twitter. So let's see if we can't get to 1,000. If everyone that listens to the show followed us there, that'd be really, really awesome. Also like our Facebook page, facebook.com/CheapseatReviews. Our website where you can go back and listen to all of our old episodes is cheapseat.com. No, cheapseat.libsyn, LIBSYN.com is how you can find all of our old episodes. It's really the only way you can go back and listen to Godzilla Final Wars or something like that. Instagram is again Cheapseat Reviews. Go there. It's fine. It's cheap. It's Instagram. It's good. That's it. Please leave us a review. We've had some people leave us reviews, which is really sweet. I mentioned this last week when we had someone leave us a review, and I will say another review that we got recently, which again was very nice. Cameron, who's coming on the show next week, left us a review, which was very nice of him to do, but he didn't have to do that just to come on the show, but I appreciate it. Saying, Sean, Sam, and Andrew, plus guests, do a great job breaking down your favorite films now and then. Love the segments, the respectful disagreements, and the jokes. They've been doing this a while, and it shows. Pull up a seat and enjoy. And this is the title of the review. The seats may be cheap, but they're... Oh, and it just stops. It says they're G-O, and it stops. But I can't see the review. That's weird. Okay, well... But they're G-O. I guess go? They're going? I don't know what he's trying to say.
They're going...
The cheap receipts they're cheap, but they're, I don't know. They're still going strong. Maybe that's what he was trying to say. I don't know. Well, we can ask him next week. And by next week, I mean like 4 days from when we air this. On behalf of Andrew and Sam, this is Sean saying thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next week.
This is Cheap Seat Reviews.